Hi, welcome back to the Completed Ticket Challenge. This is the video for week 2, day 2. So yesterday you went through the work of making sure that all of your tickets are in the right status. That gives you a good foundation for the work today, which is the management side of the Kanban practice. So that means you're going to focus on what's on the left side of the Kanban board, meaning the new column, ready column, planning, uh, those columns. So that's going to involve your service manager, your project manager, your dispatcher, and so on. Everybody who's involved in the kind of how work starts. Um, Also be aware, in the email for today, there's a couple of links to the webinars. Those include a lot more information about how to, uh, how to actually do these practices, both from the kind of the management side and the technicians side as well. So if you haven't watched those webinars, be sure to do that because there's a lot of good information there. Have a couple of considerations for you. If you are um, focusing on service, then as far as triage goes today, keep doing what you've always been doing. Whatever triage practice you have, you keep that. Making sure it's good. New ticket comes in, it's a good ticket. You fix any obvious errors, set the configurations, and so on. You may still need to do that within your PSA, and that's fine. Um, for dispatch, that might be a little bit different than what you've been doing. That's the how you assign the ticket to members and indicate priority. So what I would recommend is you do that from the member swim lane board that you set up. If you got to make a choice. If you are going to be assigning tickets to members, then you can either drag the tickets from like the unassigned column, unassigned swim lane to the person you want to assign it to, drop it in the ready column at the right position. If you want them to do it sooner rather than later, then put it at the top. If it's not the highest priority, put it towards the bottom. You may have other. You may decide to use the mode where you don't assign tickets to members. You just have a single queue for your entire team, and when technicians are ready to take on new work, they just go to that single queue for the whole team. They take what's at the top and assign themselves and work that. Or you may have a hybrid mode where if a ticket comes in and you can see this ticket can only be done by one particular engineer, then go ahead and assign that work to that engineer. But tickets that can be done by anybody, you don't assign them. So basically, engineers will work whatever they have assigned to themselves. If they don't have anything assigned to themselves, then they go into the team's queue and pick work out there. Again, in the service delivery webinar, there's a lot more information about that. And so you're going to use Kanban to assign those things. Now, what's important here is after you assign the work, or don't assign it, put it in the unassigned column, you make sure that you rank it. That's really important because tomorrow the technicians are going to start working, and when they working from Kanban, when they have need to take on new work, they take what's at the top of the ready column. So make sure that you're ranking those tickets. Now, if you're focusing on projects, some of these techniques are really similar. Obviously, there's not really a triage step, but some things are similar. As a project manager, when you see that a ticket is ready to do, it's not blocked on anything, and you'd like an engineer to do it when there's time. That's when you move it from planning to ready, and you assign it, or maybe you don't assign it if you want to have just a common queue of project work. But it would be pretty common to assign it, and then remember, you rank the ticket. We're always ranking those tickets. So, if you're coming from an environment where you've been using the calendar for managing your work, meaning you put all of the tickets into the calendar for the sake of managing the work, now is the time when you're going to stop that. Um, or if your technicians don't, right now, they don't have a full day of work in their calendar, and if you don't schedule it up, they're not going to know what to do. If they need the full day, then go ahead and schedule it out for today, but don't schedule anything for tomorrow because tomorrow is when they start working from the Kanban board. So if you need to schedule out a little bit more work just for today, that's fine, but don't do anything for tomorrow. Now, just a couple things that I want to make sure that you're familiar with doing before you get your technicians on board tomorrow is you need to make sure that you know where to find the unassigned work. That's easy to see in your member swim lane. The top swim lane is going to be unassigned work. Now, and remember that sometimes it's okay, depending on what triage and dispatch methods you're using. It's okay for work to be unassigned when it's in the new and the ready column. Generally, though, if it's in scheduled or waiting or in progress, you probably don't want it to. you probably don't want to have that unassigned. Anything you see in those columns, that's probably an error that you want to fix. You want to get those tickets assigned to somebody. Um, Unless you have you've already set a very careful procedures where you know how to handle that stuff and it won't get, somebody's responsible for handling that before it gets neglected. The second thing that you want to make sure that you can see is you understand how to identify bottlenecks with your member swim lane board. It's not difficult. You just take a look at basically who's got more tickets, especially in any particular swim lane. Especially who's got more in their in progress column. That's how you identify the bottlenecks. So just make sure that you've done that once and you're familiar with how to do that. Now, finally, because you're going to be teaching your technicians what to do tomorrow, today you should schedule a meeting for tomorrow with your team so that you have some time to explain how Kanban works for them. Okay, looking forward to seeing how it's going.